All right, daggone, once again, I'm back. Wow, feels like feels like eternity. So I've been on this thing, but the price of speaking the truth gets you banned and things like that. Well, well, I gotta say this: after being gone for 3, 4 months, you really don't know what to expect. So much has happened. Um, I've been doing a lot. Uh, in Baltimore, New York, and a few other places. It's been interesting. A lot of people that I knew or was acquainted with even died along the way, unfortunately. Um, but that's life. Things happen medically or bad personal decisions, or sometimes people just pass away. Um, so, um, but things have gotten really wicked in the last few months as well. It's kind of funny they were taking down all the videos I had done on election before, and Dr. Short and other people, Dr. Sakima Bay, Chak, all these people took all these videos down from me. Well, not all of them, but a lot of them they said had quote unquote medical misinformation and election fraud information. But then they took that away, and then they said that you can talk about it now that was the policy was wrong. Well, wait a minute now, why is it wrong? I mean, what happened? Are they not running election interference now? I'm just curious. I mean, I'm just saying they just. So I hadn't been on for months and stuff. I did my last show with TJ Lofton in February, and then I came out the next day and they said I was banned. Like, well, okay, I'm banned, but that doesn't mean that that. Hey, how you doing? So that doesn't mean that I can't, come on. It just means that I could watch my own videos, but they wouldn't let me do a video, which is odd, right? So it was like I can't do anything, but I'm still able to um, go live, right? So it's like, what's really up here? So that just means that you know the universe was just telling me that you know the dark forces, the synagogue of Satan, wants me to be quiet, but I'm still getting my message out one way or another. I'm still sending stuff, so that happens. I mean, it is what it is, right? So I'm not deterred by it, but it lets me know that there's something really going on. Um, I'm glad that things are going on. Well, it was telling me that too, man, that we need to establish high on platforms. It was telling me that, brother. Um, and the day I still win. So, but it is what it is. I even learned something today. Well, I didn't really learn something. We kind of like got some brochures that I'm going to talk about. This is what I got today. And it was talking about organ donating in Virginia. This one talked about colorectal cancer. That one might be a little bit, yeah, colorectal cancer. But I got a lot of things. I got some other stuff too. I got me some herbal toothpaste, and I got me some turmeric tea. A friend of mine, acquaintance or whatever, invited me. Said, hey, you want to They having a Juneteenth thing. I said, well, I don't know. Um, there's like I said, well, I just come and see what they talking, what it is. They had vendors out there. So one thing when people have vendors, I was banned, Monel. So that's what happened. They had me banned for months. Had me on ice, brother. Said they taking down all these videos. Every time they say y'all banned for a week. Then they said you had a strike. Then they said you put up medical information, election fraud information, blah, blah, blah. That's what happened, man. It happened, man. What can I do? So, but it is what it is. I'm back. So I just said, let me check the day. Yeah, they also had dandelion root too, but I went and got the turmeric. So yeah, it's turmeric tea. And I'm gonna be using this in my teas and stuff like that when I make tea. So that's pretty cool, right? I can make my own tea. I don't have to worry about that. Right? So I'm gonna use the turmeric probably tomorrow, whatever. But turmeric, elderberry. Of course, when I was there, I got some fluoride-free toothpaste, things like that. So what is that? $25, right? Whatever, 20, whatever the hell it was. I don't really know. I mean, I just said that when I see vendors, they got like herbal stuff. I probably get it. Um, that's just how it goes with me. So, um, yeah, pretty much it. But they got herbalists and all this stuff. So I just said, let me just get something. I didn't want the fried chicken or the fish and none of that. I just wanted that. Um, I want to say that I got some friends of mine that were. I was playing ball last week, and last Tuesday was a guy that I've been knowing for about 15 years at least. I want to say at least since I've been a teenager, like 19, and he was playing basketball and um, with me. Well, he wasn't. I didn't play basketball with him that morning, but I played with him before plenty times. Always he treated me nice and was actually very, very endearing to a lot of people. But he was playing ball last week. He just dropped dead on the court. I think he's like 50 years old. So yeah, heart attack, but it is what it is. It was unfortunate. Stepmom been in the hospital, so that's another thing going on. So just a lot of things going on at one time. Heart attacks on the rise, strokes on the rise. Um, no, he wasn't playing me when he dropped dead. But I had played that morning. Sometimes I go there, but he wasn't there that day. I mean, no, I wasn't there. I wasn't at that location that day. But it happened the same day. I played basketball that same day, but that day I wasn't there when it happened to him. So that's what happened. Um, no, that's not. Jamie, Deion Sanders got his foot amputated. Or it's talking about amputation. Yes, that's true. That's true. So it is what it is. But we pretty much know what that possibly could be. They're talking about he gained a lot of weight over the years, but the guy was pretty working with. From what I hear, he was playing ball that day with him when it happened. So I mean, we said it's gonna happen years ago. I've been talking about this for 3 years. So, but yep, he got toes amputated because of blood clots. Yep, yep. And he was a remarkable athlete when he was in his time. Also, Ray Lewis third, his son. Ray Lewis, his son died last week. They say it was due to accident or overdose, but You ain't seen no autopsy, so you don't know that, do you? So it is what it is. It's happening every month. Shoot, it's happening every day, ain't it? Shoot, every time I look around, I see something crazy. Where is Chak? Oh, here go Frank. What's up, brother?
What up? What up, Piz? What's up? What's up, man?
Doing all right,
What is
man. How
it?
you doing today? How you doing tonight, man?
Man, just chilling. Just got left the gym a little while ago. You know, just trying to get right, mentally and physically, man. You know. Oh yeah, that's for real, man.
All right. Well, let me get to some things. All right. Hold tight, man. Got some things I got to play here. Um, all right. I gotta pull this up, Frank. This gonna be interesting here. And gotta pull this up, Frank. This can be real interesting. We gotta even talk about your state. Okay. A lot of things going in your state.
Man, I mean, one good thing they implemented a little thing, a little something that to where they was gonna like take the additives, ban the like not ban Skittles, but take the additives like the dyes and stuff like that causes cancer and stuff like that. They're gonna take the additives and the stuff like that out of candies, certain candies. My thing is, what about the food though? Not just the candy. Those additives, they ain't just in the candy, and they're in the food. You know.
Let me say something right here. Fair use. Copyright disclaimer on Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance made for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, research. Fair use of the use permitted by copyright statute, otherwise might be infringing. So I want you to look at the video, Frankie. Yeah?
Hey, it's Dana from StreamYard. I'm so excited to announce that local recordings are now available on StreamYard. Have you ever done a recording where your guest just had terrible internet issues? They were blurry, they were freezing, you could almost hardly hear them. Well, with local recordings from StreamYard, you'll be able to download a perfect quality video from your guest after the show. This means that no matter what you or your guest's internet connection is like, you'll be able to.
A Great Falls gun shop owner says he was targeted by federal agents Wednesday. In fact, he says he's been in the crosshairs of the government for a couple years now.
7:30, I came in and they pulled in behind me with 20 heavily armed agents.
Tom Van Hoo says for 2 years, his Highwood Creek Outfitters gun shop has been the subject of surveillance by state and federal agencies, including the FBI, OSHA, Homeland Security, state of Montana, and now the IRS.
And the fact that they think we make so much money as a gun business, that they had to come investigate all the thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars, whatever it is we supposedly absconded with. anybody that knows the margins in the gun business knows they're not that high.
Van Hoos says all he was told is that his business had been reported. He doesn't know by who. He thinks it's part of a nationwide pattern and feels it's political.
I can only assume that because of the style of weapons that we have and the press that's so against them, the current administration seems to be hell-bent on getting those guns out of the hands of average Americans.
Tom says the agents were cordial and professional, but still felt invaded and now has lost nearly a whole day's revenue.
I got 30 minutes of operating time in and made one $16 sale.
Van Hoos says his shop has a good relationship with the ATF, which was also present. He says because his shop carries fun guns like AR-15s and AK-47s, their level of licensing draws more scrutiny.
We have a reputation as dotting all the I's and crossing all the T's because there's so much legal fun to be had. It's just not worth doing things that are going to get you in trouble.
Cascade County Sheriff Jesse Slaughter says despite previous legislative attempts, there is no law stating the sheriff must be notified prior to any such investigation. The Great Falls Police Department was notified of the investigation and provided security. An IRS spokesperson was only able to confirm the agency was at Highwood Creek on official business.
You think about that, man?
Damn, oh shoot, damn. Now you stunned. Wow. Now they going to local. They just going to gun shops now. I mean, like he was just saying, because the AKs and the AR-15s. You see what I'm saying? I think that's why you're being targeted, to be honest with you. But and it does sound political, obviously. You know, if somebody like a Trump was in office, something like this, obviously this wouldn't be happening. You see what I'm saying? Obama was on it too. Was on the gun legislature. They both, you know.
Well, it's not just but it's not them, because the IRS is doing it too. The IRS been going around doing this too lately. See.
Mm-hmm. That's why they have the arm. I was just thinking about that too. That's crazy. How you just said that. I was just thinking about the new the legislation they try to push where they are arming a certain amount of IRS agents. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that makes sense too, because they yeah, you know what? They was talking about his revenue or something like that, how much he was making. So that I can see where you coming from with that one. So, like, what does that got to do with anything? You know what I'm saying? You know, but they like trying to watch his money. But like he was saying, you're not. A lot of times in the gun industry, you're not making millions of dollars. You know. So like he was just saying, but yeah, it is political. You know. And it's just like this sounds like it does have a link to with the IRS agents and stuff like that too, because they was talking about his money or whatever he had on the books or whatever. So, man, this could be that start of them. You know, one of them stories about them IRS agents. You know, actually going to people's establishments now. You know, and then pretty soon you're gonna start hearing about them going to people's houses. So,
all right, now let's talk about the IRS. So, do you remember Sam Bankman-Fried, the big Democrat donor who was got in that trouble behind that Binance scandal?
You said Franklin. What's his name? Franklin.
What's going on, man?
Big Bishop, yo.
Hey guys, how you doing?
What's going on? They let me back out of prison.
Yeah, I see. You're set free.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
Oh yeah.
Welcome
Bishop,
back to the world.
How you doing, Bishop?
How you doing? How you doing, Frank? How you doing, Chad? How you make it out?
I'm just chilling, man. Just living, you know.
Glad to be back on the. I'm glad you're back on, BJ.
Hey, yeah, we got. That's why I'm breaking down all this stuff. So, I was talking about people forgetting things. Frank, don't we always forget?
I forget all the time.
Well, I'm not talking about you. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the popular people forget things. We talking about
right now, yeah, I see what you're saying.
U.S. offered to drop son charges now against Sam Bankman-Fried. Remember the big donor who got in that Binance scandal or whatever?
Okay.
Yeah, they allowed to drop some, but it's been a while because the guy that went ahead, it was in the Bahamas. Remember him?
You're not talking about that. No, you're not talking about the African dude. You're talking about. I see what you're
No, the Jewish boy, the one that daggone had got in trouble for donating all that money to Democrats, but daggone he had people donating to that crypto thing and he went broke or filed bankruptcy, and then he was in the Bahamas.
Filed perfect place to cover. To have a little offshore account and everything, man.
Yeah.
Perfect place.
He been free on bail, but now he's out again. He out on the move again.
Hmm.
And see, I
So
wonder why. You know what I'm saying? You see, like you were just saying with the thing with Obama, pardoning Eric Holder with Eric, when all that stuff happened with the housing thing with Eric Holder, you pardon these people right before they even get convicted.
Reminds me of what Gerald Ford did for Richard Nixon. Pardon him for anything he had done, will do, and has ever done. That's a pardon I have, brother.
But see, and then remember they was on Trump for pardoning. Well, he pardoned dude from L.A. What's his name?
Yeah, I remember that, Frank. Yeah.
What's my dude's name? Damn, dude from L.A.
Let me look. I'm gonna look it up.
He pardoned a couple people, and they look like us, and they, that was a problem, Why is that though? But when they look like you and they do some some white collar crime, then it's okay. You see what I'm saying? But when they look like us and they do blue collar crime, then they want to question Trump or whoever why they pardon this person and that person. Really, you know what I'm saying? It's just like
It's a double standard. A double standard. It's a double standard.
yeah, his name Harry O.
Yeah, Harry O. There we go.
Harry O. Yeah.
My boy Harry O. Yep. Why? Oh, it's a big deal. And see, they talking about drugs, but Nixon was. Reagan was bringing the drugs. See, that's why. And then they had Nancy Reagan. You know what I'm saying? They had Nancy Reagan talking about say no to drugs. That was a perfect cover up. The perfect distraction because then her husband was bringing the drugs in the country. So it's just you see how that it works, and it's just like. And then just like with the offshore, with the outsourcing the damn job, you got one, it was Nixon that did it, right? Nixon or Reagan, one of them two, outsourced the job in the 80s. I think it was Reagan. And then, Clinton does the same thing in the 90s. So, we talk all this Democrat Republican stuff, but these people do the same thing.
It's the same. It's the same power brokers that run both parties. Right. Don't be deceived. It's almost like good cop, bad cop, but they both work for the police force. They both work for the police force.
Exactly. That's a good point.
They're both are police officers. They just come at you two different ways. That's all. Two different ways. One smile in your face. Another one's ready to take your place. They're all backstabbers.
Oh, there you go. Come on. All right, got you. What's up, man?
Yo.
Hey, Chak.
Peace, man.
Peace. Salute. What up?
All right. So let me bring this up. Get rid of that right quick. We'll get back to that in a minute. So as I told you earlier today, I was out. And I was at the event, but I wasn't really caring about the event, but I wanted to see what they were doing, what they were talking about, right? And this was an organ donor thing. Are you the one? There's a critical need for African American organ and tissue donors in Virginia. Rather today and give others a second chance. All right. So I read the back of it. 46% of the organ transport and waiting list in Virginia are African American. Another person is added to the waiting list every 10 minutes. 2,400 Virginians await life-saving organ transplant. 84% of patients waiting for a kidney transplant in Virginia are African American. Now, I want to barbecue say that they have more like vendors out there. I got me some turmeric tea and some herbal toothpaste. I mean, they had vendors out there. They were selling cakes and stuff too. They had a lot of vendors out there, clothes and all that. But I mean, somebody asked me to come by there. I said I didn't even know what this place said. And I realized one of my DJ brothers was over there. I talked to him, so he was DJing it. So I just said, okay. But I just said, let me walk around and see what they got, because you always might find a gem in there. I mean, they had women selling hair bonnets and stuff like that too. I won't into that kind of stuff. I mean, they're going one of the woman I knew, I think she got her bonnet and something like that. And what is it? She wanted to got some cakes and stuff like that. But donor diversity matters. Let me bring that up. Shared ethnicity is not a requirement for matching organ donors and recipients. Matches between donors and different ethnicities are very common. Still, a very diverse donor registry gives ethnic minorities on the transplant waiting list a better chance to find a good donor match. Between the immune system markers used to match organ donors and recipients are inherited, people with rare markers are more likely to match someone from a similar ethnic background. And this was an organ donor gov September 2020, and it had all in this where you can register to become an organ donor. And the guy that was talking, he was talking kind of crazy. He said, you shouldn't wait to donate later. You should donate younger, because somebody could use those organs when you die. When you die, you say you don't want to leave people without it. I said, well, shoot, what are you talking about, dude? And I said, so I asked him. So she asked him, he was talking, and he started talking about all these biblical verses. He's like, it's good. It's always good to do for your neighbor and things like that and all that. And she was like, well, what are you, a preacher or something? He said, yes, I'm a preacher. I do virtual preaching. He said, I do virtual preaching in 6 states and stuff. Because she asked him where your church is, and he said, I do it virtually and stuff like that. I said, okay. But it's kind of interesting. The guy talking about a preacher, he talking about when you're dating your organ. This thing a little weird, man. I'm like, no, I ain't. But anybody can spam it. That was one thing I got to. I got to talk about the second topic, but I'm gonna finish this one first, and then we get to the next one. It was an interesting experience. That's all I'm gonna tell you. What do you think, Shaq? You ain't trying to become an organ donor, are you?
An organ donor? No, sir. Hey, I don't know about you. What about you, Frank? Or Bishop, y'all? Hey, these body snatchers out here, man. I don't trust them. I don't trust these body snatchers, man.
All right. What do you think, Bishop?
Well, I've had this body for 71 years. I intend to have it a little while longer. When I'm dead, you can do what you want with it. I'm dead.
All right. What do you think, Frank? Interesting.
Yeah, when people be selling stuff like that, I don't usually mess with stuff like I get oils and I get stuff like that. Sea moss, like how you were saying, because like a lot of them food, she ain't no good,
All right.
A lot of other things is kind of.
Here's the other flyer. See, the woman was talking about heart disease on there, but she said that this is heart disease. She like heart attacks are one of the number one killer of black people in the United States, something like that or whatever. But she was talking to the lady, right? So I'm listening. I'm like, okay, yeah, okay, whatever. I'm listening around, but I didn't pick that up. I saw one because I was thinking about Shaq. They had a screening on colorectal cancer. I said, dang, me and Shaq talk about this all the time. I got to pick up this brochure, right? And it said colorectal screening saves lives. So I'm not going to read the whole of it, but I'm going to read some of it, daggone it. What is colorectal cancer? One, it affects both men and women. It's the second leading cancer killer in the United States. But if everyone aged 50 or older had regular screening tests, at least 60% of this cancer could be avoided. It is a cancer that occurs in the colon and rectum. The colon is a large intestine, a large bowel. The rectum is the passageway connecting the colon to the anus. It said, who gets it? Most people above 50 or older. The risk increases age. Both men and women get it. You're a high risk for it if you're a close relative who had colorectal polyps or cancer. You had inflammatory bowel disease. People have pops. That's a symptom. Blood in your stool, stomach aches, pains, or cramps don't go away. Losing weight and you don't know why. Insurance company coverage. Many insurance plans, Medicare, help pay for colorectal screening tests. Check with your plan to find out which tests are covered for you. All right, type of screening test. The U.S. Preventive Task Force recommends screening. Then you got colonoscopy, you got stool DNA tests, so forth and like. And then it tells you if you want to visit resources, visit cdc.gov. Those good old friends, the CDC, one of the most satanic agencies. They want you to visit them. It's right here on this brochure. Now, I find it very interesting they had this thing on this event. So, and they told us that y'all shouldn't get y'all colon cancer screenings when y'all is young. They said y'all need to get them at 40. Everybody need to get them at 45 because she was like supposedly read number 2 in it. She said read number 1 in heart attacks. And I said, she asked me, what do you think is causing all these heart attacks among black people? You know what the first thing I told her? Obesity. She told me that won't it. She told me, you tell something a heart attack because your blood pressure is high. It's not obesity, it's pressure. Well, if you wait a minute, but if you're obese though, you're gonna have more blood pressure in the heart. So am I not right? Am I wrong or something? I'm just asking. I think I'm right. But this is supposed to be a nurse, so she's supposed to be, whatever. But quote unquote, that's what she said. So it is what it is. But Shaq, Frank, anybody, y'all can comment on these 2 nice brochures I got today.
It ain't no joke though. She's right. I mean, them certain kind of cancers, man.
Of course, she mentioned Chadwick Boseman and all these other people who had it. I like, well, what are you talking about Chadwick Boseman for? I mean, that's okay, but Dad gonna talk about some people because you got regular people out here dying every day. Just asking.
Right.
Whatever the case.
Well, and it's just like I was saying earlier. I was asking, why is it mostly us? But you pointed out too, man. A lot of times it be the obesity and just the the bad just the bad diets. You know what I'm saying? And that is shit, And then, a lot of times too, we carry on and pick stuff up from family members, man, and diet, you know what I'm saying? And
hey, Shaq, come on in, man. Just go ahead and say it, man. Go ahead, man.
Am I right? It's like, is that Pioneer right there? There's no telling what.
Shaq, what you got, man? Come on,
that's
man.
Real though.
Talk to me, man.
We get it from family, you know what I'm saying? We pick it up from moms and dads. Just, I don't know, man. They got us politically lazy, and they got us, lazy in other ways too.
Hey, Shaq, go ahead and say it, man. Go ahead and say it, man. You said protect the anus at all costs. Go ahead, man.
Protect the black anus at all costs, man. You know what I mean? They out here trying to wreck the rectum, at all costs. So protect our anuses at all costs, man. Real talk.
Let's
First of all, did y'all know that the anus is the first? I think it's the first thing it forms at birth, right? The anus is the first thing because, first of all, the anus is one of the biggest parts of your immune system. Did y'all know that?
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's the first thing that forms. When you're in the embryo state, it's the first thing to form, if I'm not mistaken. Something I was researching, I don't know why I got on that research. Don't ask me how I got on that. But all jokes aside, though, man, we do need to go down this rabbit hole and see what specifically, and that's why it's important to have professionals on all levels that look like us, that came from us, so we can actually do these researches, man, and we can't just look at the so-called pale faces, man, to get our all our data information from them. Because I do think
All
we
right.
differ in immune systems. You know what I mean?
Now, didn't you just say protect the anus at all costs? Didn't you just say that? I want to thank this Republican guy right here in your state of California, Frank. He made a good point. You know what he said? He said the parents need to flee the state amid bill that would take kids away from non-affirming parents. His name is, the bill is AB 957. That's the bill name number. Bill name and number, all right? So let's get to it. He had told a crowd of parents at the California Senate Judicial Committee to flee the state on June 3rd during a hearing on a bill will put parents who don't affirm their child's gender transition in danger of child support. Okay. Gender affirmation will be in the California Family Code alongside a child's need for health, safety, and welfare. Okay. He said he's been in this legislature for 11 years and he's been proposing policy to protect children. He said, after 11 years, I come to the conclusion that we need to start protecting parents. Okay. So what he's saying, is that if you live in California, you need to flee the state if you got a child. Okay. Democrats voted yes to pass this bill, 957 out of a committee 8-1 with 2 absent. All right. So, okay. So this is what he's saying.
I'm now in year 11 in the state legislature, and all the time we're proposing policies to protect children. After 11 years, I've come to conclusion that we need to start protecting parents. That's just not happening. I've been here, charter schools, taking away parents' choice and how their children are going to be educated, to the detriment, particularly of children of color. In recent years, we have put government bureaucrats between parents, children, and doctors when it comes to medical care. And now we have this, where if a parent does not support the ideology of the government, they're going to be taken away from the home. Now, I agree with both Senator Wiener and Senator Laird that today it only involves divorce proceedings. And frankly, a judge can already factor this in. But I can assure you it's not going to end with divorce proceedings. In the past, when we've had these discussions and I've seen parental rights atrophied, but I've encouraged people to keep fighting. I've changed my mind on that. If you love your children, you need to flee California. You need to flee. We are moving towards the pathway of the Handmaid's Tale. California is becoming the new Gilead. And it just breaks my heart. I'm born and raised in this state. I love this state. I'm not going to stay in this state because it's just too oppressive. And I believe in freedom. And so I'm going to move to America when I leave the legislature.
What do you think about that? What do you think about that, Frank?
I mean, there's a lot of stuff, you know what I'm saying? It is oppressive in the state if you think about it, because like even like the concealed carry thing, and they just make it so hard, you know what I'm saying? The cost of living is too high, it's so high. You know what I'm saying? It's like they got a lot of you know, different type of races and immigrants and stuff out here. You know what I'm saying? Putting them over us purposely, moving them in our neighborhoods. You know what I'm saying? Like making it to where we can't strive. You feel what I'm saying? They took the car plants and stuff like that out of LA and took all these, you know what I'm saying, industrial things out here to where we were really striving and making money. You see what I'm saying? And then they outsource the jobs, and then they bring these damn immigrants in here. So it's really interesting. You know, the gas prices going back up out here. They going back up. You see what I'm saying? The wages stay the same. They give you a little bullshit ass raise. You know what I'm saying? But everything else, the inflation, everything is beating it. So how is it even a raise? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just too overrated out here. And the kind of laws that I mean, I've been to said, you know what I'm saying, that what's the name, Gavin Newsom was pushing something to where, you could be 12 years old and get a sex change, or you could get to be 12 years old and get get a abortion. Like, what is a 12-year-old doing any of this weird activity that they talking about? What is a 12-year-old doing having sex? What is a 12-year-old doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, just grown up type things that they're saying that, that they're giving rights to these kids to do. And it's really weird. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know, man. He's right, man. But the stuff that they pushing on these kids with this gender stuff and this trend, it's not cool. That's the things that's really not cool. You pushing on kids. Excuse me. Then what else? But then you still need a permission slip to. It's funny because you need a permission slip, to let your kids go on a field trip to school. But yeah, you don't need permission. You see what I'm saying? For them to teach, your kids what they want to teach your kids in the school about the gender and sex and all this, or you know what I mean? It's like, or even in some cases, you know what I'm saying, you could your kid could have the damn sex change at a certain age and don't have to tell you. It's really weird. But California is one of these states that are pushing this really weird type things with gender and kids and putting them in the same sentence. And yeah, they really weird. For Gavin Newsom,
Mm. Mm. Now, let me put this in there. Let me bring this to you. So I'm thinking about it. Like I say, I appreciated what he's saying, but ain't that many of us living in California know we like it is. Now, as I was telling Shaq earlier today, what's the number one state? What's the two states in the United States that had the most small hats, as they say? In the California, New York, Hollywood, Broadway. Who pushing these policies? Ain't the synagogue of Satan pushing that? Just asking. Think about who pushing the policy in them states. And then you get your answers. So remember that. And all you got to do is think about it. Who really want Hollywood, whatever you want to call it, casting spells on you. All right? So that's that. Yep. Bishop, what you think, Bishop? All right.
Well, I mean, are we surprised at any of this? When your country begins to accept certain things, immoral things, and unethical things, I mean, are we surprised? Are we surprised that drag queens are coming into the schools, even into the churches, and having an audience? Are we surprised that condoms are handed out like bubble gum? Are we surprised that these things are happening in our nation today? I mean, it's just children can dictate to parents what they're going to do, and parents are in like Gabrielle Union and her husband Wade. I mean, they endorse it. So you talk about giving power back to the parents. I'm afraid that some of these parents are acquiescing to their children to the point that they're going to give them a permission. They're going to give them the right to choose what gender they are. I mean, come on, this is crazy. It's really crazy how our system, what our world's becoming. And then you have places like Uganda and other African nations. They're being threatened with sanctions because they have a strong stand on homosexuality in their country. We want to bring our immorality to the world, and we're going to punish folk who don't conform to the immorality that our nation has become. You're going to be punished for that. You're going to be punished for this. You're going to be punished for everything. Where are the rights of heterosexuals, for example? Nobody fires you because you stand for that. In fact, we're called prejudicial. We're called biased. We're called all kinds of names. And the same thing that they're claiming we claim on them, which is pushing our agenda, they're reversing it and they're pushing their agenda. You know, I mean, come on, let's be real. I mean, you're saying, well, the heterosexual world, they're intolerant, they're this and that, they want to force their ways on us. Let me tell you something. Heterosexuals don't force like the gays do. Let's be honest about it. The LGBT community, they push their agenda strong, and the world's conforming to it. Society is conforming to it. Governments are conforming to it readily, so that they won't be considered, they won't be called biased and prejudiced and discriminating and all that kind of thing. No one wants to be anyone to be mistreated. No one, no matter who he is. I'm against that. But in the same token, what you do behind your closed doors should stay behind your closed doors. Why is it so public? And why is so much condemnation cast against people that are standing up for right? Right is wrong now, and wrong is right now. And that's how this system is. You know, you can't do this, you can't do that in terms of morality in school, but you can do everything you want to do immorally. And I think you had said it before, BJ, earlier, well, a few months ago. We're moving to a society, just like you're talking about 12 years old can do this and 12 years old can do that. We're moving toward a society where pedophilia will become normal. Pedophilia will become acceptable because we're already accepting 12-year-olds making life deciding decisions about themselves. You're allowing a 12-year-old to change his or her sex. You're allowing 12 years old to have abortions without parental interference. They can get pregnant and they don't have to even tell their parents. In fact, they're encouraged not to tell their parents. Let them make the decision whether to have the baby or not. So this
Bishop, you see
going
that?
down on this thing is going to be a problem. It's already a problem.
Bishop, you see that? Now, I was just talking about Jewish and all that. They saying that it's probably no coincidence with that those who would spew their vile racist lies on Juneteenth, a holiday uplifting the idea that all people equal and free. Steinberg, it's a Jewish name, by the way, said in a statement to Sacramento will never cower in the face of anti-Semitism, racism, or prejudice. The overwhelming majority of people who love their neighbors must always speak up and speak out. Sacramento police said the flyers were reported in various areas of the city and county. We're in the process of gathering information on all locations that were distributed. Okay. Now, callers can remain anonymous and may receive an eligible award from up to $1,000. Non-recipients can also submit it using the free P3 Tips smartphone app. The flyer is packaged in plastic sandwich bag, grab on other materials as weights. Apparently were thrown on lines through a neighborhood near 43rd Street, Folsom Boulevard. Guy walking his dog and found one of the flyers. So what they're saying is they woke up in California in the morning. They had anti-Semitism posters. I thought it was an advertisement. That's what the man's saying. And then I saw this one that White Lives Matter, and that one struck an eye. He continued walking and found more with reference to 9/11, an argument that the United States fighting the wrong side in 112 and smears against Jews and the LGBTQ community. At least one of the flyers includes Steinberg front. Some of the flyers included QR codes to White Lives Matter. So what they're saying in Sacramento, California, they woke up just on supposedly Juneteenth, and they woke up to all this anti-Semitism and stuff. And I told Frank and Shaq, these Jewish people will come back around the barn. I told you they were not done. Why did I tell you that? Because earlier this month, Kamala Harris just said they were using a national strategy to fight anti-Semitism in the White House. I told you this. And I said they're coming back around. And they came right back around today. That's what I told you. I said they were coming. And
they're trying to link, it's all BS. They're trying to link, they're trying to put all three together. Black lives and LGBT and then anti-Semitic. Like, we're not the same. My cause is not with their cause. It's not the same thing. You know what I'm saying? I don't
Frank,
know.
Frank.
Those are the top echelon of people is the gays and the Jews.
Let
And
me
the Cree
ask you
people.
a question, man.
The Cree people.
They talking about flyers, right? And they give you $1,000 reward, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just use Kanye West for example. Let's use him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Damn, I mean they told you Kanye West, you spoke out against it, you lose all your money. So well, I mean, all they giving out is a petty $1,000. You really believe these flyers, man? Don't you think it's kind of odd?
I know.
They got more money to give away than that, don't they, Frank?
And then talking about it had a QR code. A White Lives Matter QR code. This is ridiculous, man. I'm sorry, man. That's ridiculous. I don't believe. I mean, dude, I can't. I mean, I'm not that skeptical of a person, but when I hear stuff like that, I really not like. Nah, yeah, this is some bullshit right here. Now they're just trying too hard. But see, people are gonna believe it though. People are ignorant. People are stupid. People are gonna believe it. That's just that, man. You know what I'm saying? They ain't gonna have the critical thinking skills. And they're gonna put their thinking cap on it all. You see what I'm saying? Because if I can have somebody think for me, why should I do it for? You know what I'm saying? If I believe everything the mainstream media says anyway, why would I? I'm not gonna question nothing.
Jack, what do you think? What do you think about this, man? What do you think about these racist, anti-Semitic flyers they found today this morning in Sacramento while they were walking the dog? They walking the dog on us.
Allegedly.
That's a big time allegedly, huh?
Man, allegedly.
This is too fake.
Allegedly.
And they just happen to find it, stumble upon it. Like, oh.
And they say they talk about 9/11, World War II, and all this other nonsense. I'm like, look, man. And I'm like, and they said the daggone, they had to do it on Juneteenth. You know what I always got to say? Every time they supposedly have something else. You know what? That's another thing. Every time they claim we got something going on, they always talk about some Jewish people getting attacked. How do that go down?
What does that got to do with Juneteenth, right?
But you know what, though? I'm going to tell you the truth. Anything that they give us, civil rights movement and civil rights laws, other things that they're supposed to, quote, unquote, give us, it always is co-opted by somebody else. It's always co-opted by somebody else. You know, the main people that actually benefit from the Civil Rights Act are not black folk. We're not the main ones. It's white women is number one.
That's true.
Latinos is number two. And immigrants are number three.
Wait a minute. I'm gonna actually have to disagree with you on that. You know why? And I'm gonna tell you why. Because last week, and me and Chak was talking about this. Chak can tell you about it. The white women was at a pride march, and the trannies told them, "This is our march. Y'all not welcome. We lesbian. Re-trannies. No. Re-trannies. Y'all get out. Rerunning this thing now. See, the game, the flip, the number one benefactor of the civil rights movement has become the LGBTQ plus movement these days.
Okay.
I agree with you. They becoming the big dog on the block.
The point I was trying to make is that no matter who it is, it's always meant for us, supposedly, but always benefits somebody else. Everybody co-ops it. The Black Lives Matter movement was a farce anyway, from its very beginning. Its founders were lesbian, we know that. And their agenda was to promote LGBT community agenda. They wanted to kill the family. In fact, their original statement of purpose was to end the family. The nuclear family was supposed to be destroyed by men marrying men and women marrying women. That would automatically destroy the nuclear family that's been the backbone of this world since time immemorial. But they want to break it up, so they attack it. They always take our thing. It's a weird thing, and we allow it. We joined the feminist movement. Feminist movement, people like Margaret Sanger, people like Susan B. Anthony, they didn't like black folk one iota. They did not include in any real way black women. Or they don't mind black faces. But in terms of leadership, anytime Harriet Tubman was the most famous woman in the nation had to take a back seat and be submissive to Susan B. Anthony, who was a nobody at the time, and a Margaret Sanger, who was even a less of a nobody at the time during the turn of the century. She had to take a back seat as though she was inferior to them or subservient to them. And of course, they looked at her in that way. We have to remember, we always talk about black, white men. White women were just as much poison against us as anybody. They were slave owners too. They treated slaves cruelly too. So, I mean, this idea that somehow or another we have the same struggle. Come on now. White women and black people, melanated people, have the same struggle. Call them minorities. How can a woman be a minority where they make up the majority of the nation in terms of number of people? How are they a minority group? See how they work it? They're a majority even over white men, but they call them a minority so they can get the benefits that minorities get. The minority who was the predominant one at the time were black folk. Always taking from us, and they do it on purpose. Everything we've ever been given has been used and utilized against us in many cases, though it was intended supposedly for us. Once again, that the smoke and mirrors, what appears to be is not always what it really is. But we just shuffle along, don't we? Shuffle along. Yes, sir, boss. We're going to march with the LGBTQ community. We're going to march with the feminist community. We're going to march with this. We're going to march with that. And everybody's marching to stomp on you. They're stomping on you while you're marching with them. Craziness, insanity. No group has been treated as lousy as our group has been treated. And we still want to be friends. We still want to be comrades. We still want to be rubbing shoulders with. We still want their approval. That slave mentality has, for the 315 years they were slaves, and in the 100 years of Jim Crow, it's become so embedded in us. It's been so embedded in us, we don't even recognize the fact that we want white people's approval on everything. And anything a white man says, I can tell you the truth, and you'll go to the white man to verify whether I'm telling you the truth.
Bishop, I gotta ask you something while I'm thinking about it before I forget. But I'm gonna forget, but I'm gonna bring it up before I go to another state. Since you're in Philadelphia, I'm talking about Virginia today. I'm talking about California. Chak, I'm coming to you in Texas. The bishop been talking, so I just want to bring up one thing. Bishop, you heard about this bridge or something that fell out in
on 995.
95, right? Now I find that mighty events they told you there were bodies under the bridge, but never did show us pull anything out under the bridge.
Not yet. Not even yet. That's been weeks ago.
And Biden and Fetterman come and talk about it. But if you're trying to get an infrastructure bill, wouldn't it make sense to, I don't know, detonate a bridge to get your agenda passed?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Biden came to the state, didn't he? Fetterman talked about it.
Oh yeah. Biden came with it.
So when they come around, that tells me that they had something to do with it, because you got, I'm going to talk about this probably more so toward the end. No matter of fact, I'm not even talking about it. I'm going to talk about it in a second. After I let Chak talk about Texas, because we've been having a lot of things going on here in Richmond, Virginia, in the surrounding counties up there in North Carolina, Arlington, Virginia, Prince George County, which is about 45 minutes, 30 minutes, we give or take, of a lot of bear sightings. And Chak sent me something this morning of a bear mauling a man in Arizona. So when you turn down on his farmland, we're going to talk about these bears in a minute, but I want you to talk about the Philadelphia thing right quick.
Well, you're absolutely right. I mean, it's very suspicious. The whole thing was so crazy. And just like you say, it's not enough. Once again, almost like what Frank always talks about. They give you numbers, but they never give you a face to match the number. They don't, sometimes don't give you a name to match the numbers. You got all these people dead, all these people supposedly hurt, and ain't nobody know nobody's name, nobody know nothing. This thing must have been a truck hitting the thing, and it exploded, and then it caught fire, and then the bridge structure fell down, but nobody got hurt, and come on now, you got that kind of the way you should see the damage that caused. It won't be back in the full swing for months, maybe half a year before that thing, maybe even longer. It all matters on whether.
Let me ask you a better question.
You go.
Isn't that a way to control transportation?
Of course. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. Fetterman don't even know what day it is, and Biden's know better. Both of them are just as challenged as they can be intellectually right now. One got dementia and one's on his way to get it.
All right, Shaq, what do you think about the bridge falling down, man? London Bridge is
falling down.
London Bridge is falling down, falling down, falling down.
I think it's a mighty coincidence. Quinky dinky. You know what I mean? When we talking about infrastructure, we're talking about elections. You know what I'm saying? Talking about real elections coming up. We're talking about go back with all the trains and stuff, man. Look at all the trains, derailments and stuff.
Right there,
so,
we had a big
one or two things, Bishop.
A big one.
Is this it's right? So do you think? Let me ask y'all. Do y'all think this an inside job deliberately, or do y'all think it could be some foreign attacks that's attack on the infrastructure?
I don't think it's foreign attacks. I really don't. I think it's more domestic than foreign. That's what I believe. I ain't got no documentation.
Now wait a minute.
I just think
I agree with both of you, but kind of tentatively, I do believe that it's foreign attacks, but you got Americans perpetrating it. Because I would not be surprised in one of these attacks if they start. I don't know. They might come out and say, "Hey, we about to try to bring a high-speed rail through Philadelphia." They want to bring a high-speed rail anyway. That's not something that's going to be in America. So you got American people doing it, but that high-speed rail will be funded by the Chinese. You better believe it. They want to have a high-speed rail. They're trying to get the new form of transportation too, as we had it, just like they're doing with AI. So we got to be aware of what they're doing now. Just saying.
Yeah, because think about it, man. That's something for a bridge to come down. But like you said, since we've been in this administration, we done had so many infrastructure collapse. I mean, infrastructure disasters. You know what I mean?
But you know what though?
Train derailment.
But Chak, let me say this. Let me say this very quickly. Let me say this. And I'm gonna tell you also, some of these structures, I'm gonna tell you in Philadelphia, some of these structures are about 80, 90 years old too. They're almost ready to come down anyway. That's why I have a problem. They have this infrastructure bill that passed and all that kind of stuff. But the places that need to be dealt with are just like you were saying a minute ago, everything's collapsing. Where does this money go? They make they make all these millions and billions of dollars allocated for this and allocated for that, and I don't see nothing changing. And just like you said a moment ago, in fact, it's getting worse. The infrastructure just falling apart all over this country. First of all, some of these bridges are over 100 years old and have been just band-aided. Not fixed, just band-aided. A band-aid can't hold but so long. A band-aid can't stop a flowing of blood if it's too profuse. It can stop it can stop a scratch. It can't stop a wound. Not a band-aid. Can't stop a wound. It can stop a scratch, but it can't stop a wound from bleeding. And that's what they're doing. And they keep on supposedly pouring money into these projects, and we don't see none of the results of it. In fact, things are falling apart all around us in every state in the union. They're falling apart. London Bridge is falling apart in England, and the Bay Bridge is falling apart in Virginia, and Ben Franklin Bridge is falling apart in Philadelphia, and the St. George's Bridge is falling apart in New York, and the Golden State Bridge is falling apart in San Francisco, and on and on and on. Where does the money go? It don't go into fixing nothing. And that's a delusion and an illusion that they're really out there. If you read those bills, you'll see very little money actually goes to fixing the infrastructure across this country. Some of this stuff was built in the 1800s. 1800s. The Walt Whitman Bridge was built in 1895. And you just patch it up and patch it up. Ain't nobody build no new bridge. Ain't nobody really assuring that these bridges are solid now. Something that was built over 100 years ago. the metal and the bolts and all the things that hold the bridge up. You think they're gonna hold up for hundreds of years? Cars are heavier now. You got trucks, diesel trucks running through them. When they were built, there were no cars. If there were, they're like Model T Fords. There was no eight wielding trucks and all that. They weren't even in existence when these bridges were built. There were more horse and carriages going across than cars when they were all built. Now you got diesel trucks, you got this kind of thing. Things are 4,000 or 5,000 pounds going over it every single day.
Right.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Right.
Frank,
you got a lot of 18 wheelers on the highway. You're right.
Yeah. They weren't prepared for that.
I just that's true too, but at the same time, just like how New Orleans and a lot of these places where the water, the pipes and stuff like that for the water had damage and corrosion and stuff with them. It's just like similar with these roads and these bridges. A lot of this stuff is old. You know what I'm saying? Outdated. They cheap. These cities and states, they cheap. They don't want to fix them.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? They don't want to really maintain maintenance. And then they're gonna try to blame it on, it's the infrastructure bill that y'all didn't want to pass. This infrastructure bill that y'all didn't want to, that y'all look twice about, and this and that. That's all it is. They're gonna blame it on, y'all didn't want to go with the infrastructure bill. So I mean, it kind of makes you question, like, is this a lot of this shit intentional? You feel me? Like, did they blow the shit up, or like, did they do? I don't know, because like it kind of makes you like it kind of coincides with that infrastructure bill.
All right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's inexcusable.
What do y'all think? Does that make sense or what? Because they was pushing the infrastructure bill, and then you notice too, because they pocket that money. You know what I'm saying? Even though it would have passed or not, they would have pocketed the money, because look at these. You know what I'm saying? Look at these roads, and these, like, the roads out here in California, man, they messed up, man. I know that in some of your states where y'all at, they potholes and all types of stuff. They don't.
It's ridiculous. It's awful.
So-called tax money. They don't be sending that, using that stuff for no streets and no roads. You know what I'm saying?
I hit one of them potholes today. But look, now Frank. Now let me bring up something. Let me bring up something here. Now, a couple weeks ago, I told you I was at home, and I told you they had a shooting downtown, and they had beef in the hood, and a young boy from Huguenot High School down here, probably about 5 to 10 minutes from me, give or take, if I get the highway, which is right at the end of Southside Richmond, going Chesterfield County. And down at Altry, I told you about a shooting that happened. And I told you they had another shooting with three young men got shot in the Churchill neighborhood of Richmond. Remember I told you that, Frank? And I told you that this shooting happened at a graduation. They got the shooting, the 9-year-old girl, she got hit by a car. Remember I told you about all that? But they killed the father and the son after the graduation.
Yep.
They called it a high school shooting. They didn't call that a mass shooting. But last night, there was a Father's Day shooting in Chicago in a neighborhood park, killing 2 people, injuring 3 more. Frank, the number 3 again. There you go. The mass shooting sparked chaos when shots rang out in the Roseline area of Chicago, Illinois, near 99th Street and South Princeton Avenue. Police say the shooter who opened fire killed 2 men, 33 and 37, and wounded 3 other men at age 9th Father's Day barbecue. So you get that much going on why I wanted to protect it. But this just happened. Then they had a Juneteenth shooting party on Saturday, I believe, in Chicago. They said they heard 100 rounds of gunfire last night at this one. It was a volley of shots was fired. One woman told me she were family when she heard dozen shots. The 37-year-old was shot in the head, while the 33-year-old died after he was shot in the neck. They were rushed to University of Chicago Medical Center and Roseland and Christ Hospital. The 27-year-old was shot in the buttocks and shoulder and said to be in critical condition. All right. So once again, a so-called bloody weekend in Chicago. Got to be some government intervention here if all this is going on, Chak or Frank or whatever, Bishop, because it's almost like clockwork. When you have a holiday coming, shooting in California, shooting in Chicago, shooting here, shooting there,
It's
mass
always
shooting everywhere.
it's always on a weekend, and it's always on either a holiday weekend or something like so. Like that's kind of come on, and it's always in Chicago. So why is it always in Chicago? So I mean, tell me this dog whistling to the white conservative, Fox 11 News watchers. This is because they always use that talking point. What about Chicago? Oh, we're young, killing each other. What about shooting violence? What about Chicago? But they're not telling you about the rival cartels there in Chicago. 2 rival cartels there in Chicago. The news never talk about that either. How come they don't talk about the Asians and the Crips and Bloods out here in California? So I mean, and then they got white gangs in California, in Chicago too. They got the Gaylords and they got the Simon City Royals. They got, you know what I'm saying? So come on, dude. Why y'all never talk about what the white gangs? The white gangs, they have organizations like the GDs and the Vice Lords. They have organizations, bro. I mean, I'm talking about generations of people in those gangs. And they call the Gaylords and the Simon City Royals. Nobody ever talk about that. It's just always trying to make you focus on us. We're the scapegoat of everything. You see what I'm saying? We're the talking points of everything. We're the stereotypes. We're the walking and talking stereotypes of everything. They always use us as, you know what I'm saying, as something, or the fall guy, because they know that they took our nationality from us. They know we have no nationality. They know, guess what? That these preachers and these teachers and these fake politicians are going to sell us out by the dozens for a little bit of money, just like the ones that Africa do. Even though I'm not saying we're not directly linked, we're directly linked to people from Africa. But I'm just saying, you notice that's one thing we do have in common. Their so-called leaders sell them out, and our so-called leaders sell us out, and it's both to the European. Why is that? You see what I'm saying? See, that lets you know that money it just trumps everything in our so-called community, in our so-called society, with our people. You see what I'm saying? No kind of integrity, no type of righteousness, no type of movements, no type
There's
of
one
self-motivation.
simple hearing hack
None of that
anyone
shit.
can.
It's all about money and a payout. Clyburn said as long as he's good, as long as they good, you know what I'm saying? Then his family's good, his family's straight. See that type of stuff right there lets you know where our mentality is at. You see what I'm saying? That lets you know we have a selfish
Used
type
to
of
improve their
mindset.
hearing almost
We
overnight.
don't care about what nobody else
Did you
says.
know
Look,
that here?
we don't care about what nobody else says or does. You know what I'm saying? Just like we had him, he spoke at Howard University, but he cut billions of dollars for the HBCUs though, or millions of dollars for the
And
HBCU
guess
funding,
what?
which is really
And
weird.
you know what? Some of the young brothers won't feel in him, but by them getting federal money, they had to kiss Biden's ring and let him come.
See, that's our problem. Now I'm gonna tell you right now, that's a problem for me. To me, we are our worst enemy. For example, let me say 2 things, and I know you got this clip to play, but let me just say 2 things. Clyburn, anytime someone would say to me, as long as my family's okay, I'm okay. They asked him point blank. Now that you got Biden into office, what you gonna ask him to do for you in your state? He said, as long as me and my family okay, I'm okay. What about the 175,000 constituents that put you in office? He don't care about them. He made it clear. As long as me and my fam, and I have them work for him for hundreds of thousands of dollars, up to $1 million with one of the children, he's fine. Here, the same thing here. Here you got Howard University. Howard University gets us a pittance of money. Here you had Trump. They didn't want Trump there, but Trump gave him more money than any other president ever, from George Washington all the way up. No president, not even the black one, so-called black one. He's really the African white one. Gave them the money. In fact, he was the first one to cut them. George W. gave them a lot of money. Your president took the money away, cut it back by half. Trump boosted back up to more than anybody else, and Biden cut it back down to where even lower than what Obama did. But you invite Obama to Howard, you invite this man to Howard, and you invite all them people to Howard that mean you no good, but because you want some kind of notoriety, they ain't gonna do nothing for you. He'll talk about. I know when Obama went to one of those black colleges, I think it was Clark College. He's talking about what they need to do as black. You got to go out there and keep on fighting. Don't let the world do this. Come on, man. The men graduating. Is that what they want to hear? That they're still thugs? That they're still lesser than anybody else? You wouldn't have said that at Harvard University. You wouldn't have told them, now graduates, you go out there and you don't let this world do this to you, and you do that.
You know what? They they sent Kamala Harris to West Point around the same time. Remember?
Yeah.
But and then last week Biden had that Juneteenth celebration at the White House talking about he did a lot for you. He showed the movie Teal in the White House and stuff like that. Who cares? You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, whatever, fine.
But we fall for it. That's the problem. I'm gonna play a clip on my show on Wednesday. I'm gonna play a clip about from 1972 until 2020. How many black folk, percentage-wise, actually vote for Democrats, and how, unlike other groups who sometimes vote for the Democrats, sometimes they vote for the Republicans, sometimes they didn't vote at all. But we, every single year from 1972 to 2020, nearly 50 years, have voted this party back in over and over again. And what have we gotten substantially, substantively? I don't mean no Floyd statue, George Floyd statue. I don't mean tearing down the Confederate statues. I don't mean that kind of mess, getting Juneteenth and all that mess. I mean, all that's nice, that's pretty and all that. It don't mean nothing to my life. It don't improve my life one way or the other. It may distract and make my life less, but now we think we done did something. And that's what they do. They do these gesture stuff. And we just fall for it hook, line, and sinker. Over and over and over again. Clyburn's going on to his 36th year as a congressman. After he said that, you still voted for him. I would have said, hey, oh, you don't care about me? As long as you and your family okay, you okay? Because I ain't sent you back up there. Because I ain't sent you there to make your family rich. To improve your family's life. But they voted him back in, didn't they?
Hey, Shaq. let me let Shaq say he got anything you want to say about this shooting in Chicago. I want to see what he got to say. Maybe he got some interest. Because we're about to get this thing what Biden said, and then we're gonna break down these.
Yeah. Have they caught any suspects? Are there any suspects?
Chicago only got an 18. Chicago only got an 18% clearance rate, which is kind of clearance rate. But one time, I'm not gonna say what it is now, but one time their clearance rate was only 18%. That means that they're gonna have the cases they get the shooting, they don't even get solved. They don't find nobody, no suspects, none of that shit.
I think that's very suspicious.
Right? So
for that to be that many shootings, right, at one time, right? Many people got shot at one time. You don't have not one suspect. I mean, maybe we need to check the update. Maybe we need to check the news.
Yeah.
Let's see.
One time their clearance rate was 18%, man. I'm telling you, they had a lot of people not even getting arrested, man. Like they said they couldn't find nobody, they want nobody telling each other anyway. They scared of being murdered because they tell on somebody. Matter of fact, I don't think they tell nobody. I think they government agents on killing you. They just sit there lying to you, telling you it's a regular people. I ain't no regular people doing this shit every. But I want you to hear what the president said about guns and all that. He had a summit last week.
Mm-hmm. We're the United States of America, and there's nothing beyond our capacity when we do it together. God bless you all, and may God protect our troops. We can get this done. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I mean it. Thank you. Now, as some of you know, I'd usually come down and say hi to all of you. They tell me there's a storm coming in. Is that right? Is that still the deal? That's the truth. Now, don't make a lie. As that scene in the John Wayne movie, don't make me a dog-faced lion pony soldier. All right, well, I tell you what. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to ask the White House photographer to come up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stand. I usually shake everybody's hand. But I'm going to stand in front of each section. No, I really mean it. And if you can see the camera, they can see you. And it's the least consequential part of this whole meeting for you. I promise. All right. God save the Queen, man.
God save the queen. I thought she was dead. Does it mean RuPaul? Does it mean RuPaul? He must mean RuPaul because I thought Queen Elizabeth was dead. I don't know. God save the queen. My God. Your president. That's your president.
I was telling people, man, look, back in the day, I was telling people, do not vote for this dude, man. I remember one of my cousin's funeral, we was over there, and it was like his brother was like, oh, man, well, there's nothing much we could do, man. We got to get this guy out of. I'm like, thinking, why do you got to get Trump out? You know what I'm saying? And see, that's the thing. We be so conditioned and just so programmed. We don't got to do nothing. And we're not going to do nothing. By your vote is not nothing because they already have something called the electors, and then they all get together, and that's called the electoral college. They already select who they're going to pick. You don't think these people come on. They're not that stupid.
Let me bring up somebody in the electoral.
Right, of different cities.
Go ahead, man. My bad.
Different cities they have different electors.
Tomorrow evening, I forgot to mention. Tomorrow evening, I think we're gonna have Sakima Bay on to talk about these electors and all this stuff and this Trump thing. So that'd be interesting. But let's see what's up. We'll talk about that later. That's just something I want to announce right there.
But what I mean, though, man. It's just like it's all they already know who they're gonna pick, man.
I made a mistake. I was looking for the video when he talked about them trafficking guns in Mexico. He was talking about the fentanyl crisis, and he was talking about basically, Mexico don't like the guns being shipped over there, but they ain't getting them shipped over there in their own. Somebody got to ship them over there. Duh, they shipping them the guns. Ukraine getting the armory. Come on, people. What are you talking about? All right. Yeah.
Makes sense.
But let me bring up one thing before we go. Chak, we were talking about bear sightings this morning. I'm gonna pull it up right quick. But first, Chak, what do you think about all these bear sightings I've been telling you about? I've been telling you about bear sightings, then you heard about a bear mauling somebody. What do you think, Chak? Interesting, bear sighting. Huh?
Yeah, man. I think they're definitely attacking the I think the radiation. You know what I'm saying? All the 5G towers, 6G, 7G. I think some of the radiation on top of them, extincting some of these wildlife animals, their habitat. You know what I'm saying? So they're, the weather. You know what I mean? They're with the way they're affecting the weather. Man is affecting the weather. So these animals, wildlife, they're coming out. And they're going to attack because they have to preserve themselves, right? They're wild animals. They're the wildlife.
And
so
what
happens when you get?
No, I was going to say, and we have to remember, this was their land before it became your town. That was their location. That was their place they lived. When we tear down the trees and the shrubbery and mow out the grass and the things that made them live, remember your house used to sit on or in a forest, their forest. And when you drive them out of their location, they're going to come back into yours because the reality of it is that it was their land before it was your land. It was their city before it was your city. That was their location. So you kept a little area for them to live in. Once you begin to destroy that too, then they're gonna come back to where they used to live. Instinctively, they know where they used to live. That city, that little street you lived on was their land first.
Let me play this clip. I'm gonna play this clip right quick.
And bear sightings as well as bear attacks. And obviously this can be very dangerous with 4th of July just around the corner as more people might be going out to campsites in different areas that are rural. News 4 Tucson's Isabella Fredrickson has more on what we can do to protect ourselves. Isabella.
Yes, that's right. There have been 3 bear sightings in Madera Canyon and the Santa Ritas. Right now, I'm live from Mount Lemmon, where many locals love to come to escape the heat, go camping, picnicking, and more. However, this is also home to many of Southern Arizona's bear population. Mark Hart with the Arizona Game and Fish Department says that these bear sightings will continue to rise until the monsoon.
If you're a camper, know this. Bears can smell food a mile away. So use those locking bear boxes to store your food, or lock it up tight in your car. Wash up after you've cooked and change your clothes, because your clothing and your body can bear the aroma of food. And last but not least, never take food in a tent. A bear could try to enter your tent to get at that food.
With the holiday weekend in full swing, many people are coming up here to go on picnics. Chelsea and her friends came up today to go on a picnic where they had no idea these bear sightings were increasing. The Arizona Game and Fish Department says that if you encounter a bear, do not run away, but instead make yourself as big as possible. Make noise, bang pots and pans, and even yell to create some noise. Live from Mount Lemmon, Isabella Fredrickson, News 4 Tucson.
Shaq, what do you think about that? Shaq, Frank, Bishop, anybody? What do you think?
Make yourself big. Oh, now we magicians now. We can make ourselves big, huh? Make yourself big. Man, you know how big a damn black bear is? Boy, I tell you, boy. It's comical, man.
You know what? I was in the gym today. And the guy told me that a bear climbed a lady's house, and he couldn't get out. He tried to go climb back. I couldn't get out, and came back downstairs, and he went out through the front door. But I said, y'all gotta understand, bears can climb, man. You just gonna make yourself big. They saying make noise and bang pots and pans. Yeah, that sounds good. Cool, you could do something. That is known to be done. But what if it don't work this time? He would
if it don't work.
But you get on with you can't run. He can chase you down. He can climb a tree. So you actually probably
You can't run no bear, bro.
Bear can run fast 35, 40 miles an hour sometimes.
Dude. But you need honestly, if you're camping or somewhere, you do go some places like that. You need some guns, too. But see, they're talking all this stuff with these laws and these strict little laws that they're making in certain states. It's like, damn, and make it to where you know what I'm saying. You probably can't even bring a gun with you.
45 mag hiking and camping must-haves. Well, you might need to have that shotgun, brother. But
man,
but we have been turned down a lot of stuff. And I just talked to a lady last night. They've had two or three bear sightings in Charles City, Virginia. That's in the country. And they had some coyote sightings. And I asked her, what's going on? They only had one apartment complex in the whole county. They done cut down trees and forests to make another one. When you cut down trees and forests, you can drive these bears and coyotes out too. They come and follow.
Mm-hmm. I seen a coyote the other day, man. Last week at night by my job, man. Them coyotes, they be out too, man.
Yeah, so we got to be careful how we affect the nature. And Dog Moss, yes, I'm gonna talk about that military in 15 states. I'm gonna bring that up. I probably might try to bring it tomorrow with Schema Bay actually. Yeah, I didn't get to that. I mean, like I said, I've been gone for about 4 months off here. I got to go down the rabbit hole to get everything back. A whole lot of things will happen. Some stuff that I just been sending y'all via text or talking about. You know, they tried to put me on the shelf. They tried to ice me, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, but like Bishop Scott told me, you know, when they try to ice you, you must have pissed somebody off. So I'm just glad I pissed somebody off, right? You know. Hey, is that a good idea, Bishop? I pissed somebody off, somebody got mad or something? I don't know.
Oh yeah. They try to get rid of you then.
Yeah, but you know, but then I just said tonight, I'm just gonna try it. You know, I told Shaq, I'm gonna just try it today. And then I came up and I said, oh man, let me do a show. So, but it was very interesting. It was always, as we call, a great experience to do this again. I had to figure out what I was going to talk about. Usually I already have it, but I had to kind of like dice it through because I said, we got a lot of things to talk about, but I didn't know that I could do this till 7 o'clock tonight. So that's when I started making my calls, and I even sent Felicia Lockhart, and she probably didn't come on it with short notice, but hey, I just sent it to her, and I called Frank, and then I called Shaq, and then I called you. So It's very interesting. Just sent you a link just in case, but it's very interesting. We're trying to get back on. Supposed to coming on tomorrow with King Bay. We're gonna talk about this things going on with the Trump thing, and we're gonna talk about this military 50. I'm gonna bring that up to him and let him expound on it and a couple other things. Got to bring up a lot of things. Try to get Gavin. Hey, look, this show must go on because they've been trying to stop the show for a long time. They put me there 3 months, and they were taking their videos from way back, even 3 years ago, of me, 2 years ago, talking about medical menstruation, election fraud. They really tried to put a number on me, right? But I could watch all my old videos, but I couldn't go live. It's weird, you know. It's not. I wasn't. They didn't ban me as far as like my channel, but they just stopped me from streaming live. So, but that's that. I mean, it is what it is. But you know, y'all go ahead and shout out y'all information and all that, and we're gonna do this again very soon. Sooner than not, actually.
All right, well, man, good looking out for having me back on here, man. Much respect again, BJ. I'm glad you got your channel back, man. They can't keep you down, even though they was trying to. So yeah, man, y'all could just hit me up, either Instagrams, man, XX Frank Nitty XX or Frank Jones 8115. Or, y'all can hit my YouTube XX Frank Nitty XX for some reason. I don't know if they got me shadow banned or not, man, but they, every time people type in my channel, this basketball and stuff comes up. So I don't know what's going on, man, but I might have to just start sending links to, but you know what I'm saying? Definitely subscribe if you're not subscribed, hit that channel up and like, comment and all that, appreciate that, BJ.
You ever say something about Doc Boss's comment? You're right. I was at the court this morning that we was at there. And I saw a squirrel come in a trash can and literally take something out of that trash can and go walking down the street. Yes, that is true. Squirrels are going in trash can. They are going to get food. Very true. I saw that this morning. I said, what that squirrel hanging around the trash can? Maybe when that trash can got something and left.
Nature's changing, right?
You gotta be careful. That trash can. There's a lot of yellow jackets be in that trash can too. So that's another story. But Chak, go ahead.
Yeah, man, it's always a pleasure to jump on with you every day, man. Yeah, we got to sound along, man. We got to keep our voices loud and clear. Like I said, man, I'm me. My motto is all hands on deck. You know what I mean?
Kevin Samuels come back.
Kevin Samuels come back because
hell yeah.
Hey, look here, hashtag Kevin Samuels come back. Because the brother, man, was on to something, man. He was an older gentleman, 52 years old, if I'm not mistaken, at the time of his death.
We're gonna do a show about Kevin Samuels, right? We're gonna do a show about. Hey, remind me before the end of the month, before I turn 36, which is July 16th. We're gonna do a show, and we're gonna talk about Kevin Samuels for 40 minutes on this show.
Hell yeah.
Well, you'll get banned, what?
Huh?
By the females and by YouTube.
You'll get banned. Both.
I'm gonna let you talk about it.
Probably, not probably about YouTube, about you might have some haters that flag your channel.
But I'm gonna let you talk. But you've been bringing them up, and you've been sending information on them, and I'm gonna let you just talk about it in your own words. This is gonna be Shaq's. It can be on here, but it can be in your own words, right? That's how it's going, right? In your own words.
I mean, because he was on to something, man. I mean, he was on to something. To be honest, I mean, and like I said, let's be honest, all of us, so-called black men on this, heterosexual black man on this panel and on this channel that's listening in the chat, the so-called black man voice has been silenced.
I'm gonna ask Bishop a question after you done.
Ask Bishop. No, you can ask him right now. You can ask
Bishop. You know what I saw the other night, Bishop, when I was going to do a DJ event. I was in Churchill neighborhood over there in Richmond, over there at the projects, and I saw something kind of crazy. I saw a stand, right? Women had a stand of hair weave ponytails and stuff. They were selling like vendors, man. Right? Like vendors, man. And I'm sitting there saying, okay. But I looked across the street, you had a little convenience store. Then you had a Ruby Ray beauty store. And you had another store. I think there used to be a Church of Chickens, a tobacco store now. And I thought about it. Them women, they might make some money with their hair selling on them bundles and ponytails, but how many people can go to their little Ruby Red Asian beauty supply store against the street and bypass the women that's out there vending on the street? Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I just said, when you start to sell wigs, bundles, and hair on the street, we are getting into a new level of self-esteem. And I broke down months ago. Dude, I'm going to be not honest with you. And like, people don't like when I say it. 90%, and probably more, but I'm going to be on the 90% side here. 90% of industry would not make that much profit off us if our self-esteem would be held to a higher standard. But it's not. The fact it's not is why, you know, and I'm just gonna be honest with you. I mean, people don't like when I say this. I say, look, if you spend majority of your time eating out at fast food restaurants, that's a self-esteem issue because you can cook at home. You know. I mean, the long weaves, eyelash, even put. Now, one woman, I'm gonna give her credit. I saw this woman. She had a natural hairdo, natural everything. I couldn't tell if she had any tattoos or anything. But the thing that got me, she didn't have it, but she had the eyelashes on the car and the rims. I'm like, well, you know. So,
man.
But I'm like, look, when the car got the butterfly headlights, I know we're getting to a special kind of breed, right? Just telling you. But nevertheless, you know, but these industries.
Well, let me say this though, Bernard.
Go ahead.
On the back end of that, right? I listened to Dick Gregory a lot, man. That guy was, man, look at him. He said, what if kinky nappy hair was I laughed at it, but when he said it, I thought about it. I've been thinking about it. What if kinky nappy hair is how he said, kinky nappy hair was the so-called cure for disease and cancer, right? Now go what you just said, because you said low self-esteem, right? So if you are not satisfied with the way the creator, right, designed you, right? And you're going against the universal God. You're going against the natural way the creator designed you. So your vanity could be causing your insanity and your cancerous state because you're unsatisfied with what the creator has. You know what I mean? Just thought, just food for thought.
Well, let me ask you a question. And when you're unsatisfied with your own existence, you will do things to make up for the way you feel inadequate. And I'm gonna say this, and Bishop, I'm gonna let you finish. Then I'm gonna say what I gotta say and be gone. But when you live in a system that continuously makes you feel inadequate every day, that's why the women do what they do, and even men do what they do, right? Like, when you kill a brother or fight a brother over a pair of Jordans, why do Jordan shoes make you feel inadequate? You had to spend $200 to get those, right? I'm just saying. So, but that's how you know the propaganda working when you're ready to die over something that only exists in your mind. We even had this talk last week, and we were just talking about a sports conversation. Look, if you want to talk about who the better player, I don't mind people talking about who the best basketball football player. It's conversation. It's a cultural conversation. It happens all the time. The point of the matter is when you get angry and inflamed over something that you're not even doing on that level anyway, and you will die.
Vanity over insanity, baby.
That person. or whatever.
Vanity over sanity, baby.
Vanity over sanity.
It's a good example like that. I'm not trying to like bring it back to the ladies or the females, but how they be getting these BBLs, man, and they be end up dying. It's like
that's part of it too, Frank.
That guy named MC Young Fly or something.
Or DJ Young Fly, the comedian cat.
Yeah. They say his wife or something died because she was going to get a BBL or something like that. My thing is,
they call it a mommy. I don't know, whatever the hell a mommy makeover.
I'm gonna say this.
It was a mommy makeover.
Yeah, it's like, what is that?
They claim,
wow.
But let me say this. I'm gonna let Bishop, you gonna expound on this after I'm done. I'm gonna say this. Well, my great aunt talks to me all the time. My great aunt, she always said, I don't understand. She like, we used to get our hair done too, but not like all this crazy style wig and stuff. She was like, my great aunt used to say, now I'm just going to paraphrase, I'm just putting my own words in, but they used to say, black is beautiful. But really, to tell you the truth, when you see a woman these days, hey, Dawson, how you doing? Do you know, are you getting a simulated version or are you getting a real version? Because they got the long eyelash wig and stuff. You don't really know what she looked like, really, without all that. Because you might see a totally different person on the next round. Especially, but I'm just saying. And that's not saying they're already beautiful. They're already beautiful, so they don't really need to do
right.
But
that's what I want to say, Bernard, to the black lady. Y'all already was made in God's. You was made in the right image to attract the so-called black man, and vice versa. We were made in the proper image to attract each other. I do want to say that natural beauty is one of a kind, man. You know, so love yourself, and I guess we'll be able to love thyself and thy neighbor.
All right, Bishop, what you got, man?
Well, you know, on Wednesday we'll talk with the G-Man. We'll be talking about some of the topics you're talking about tonight, and so much more. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. I really want a program called The State of Black America. I hear, as we even doing my program, I've heard so many different views, almost a fatalistic view, like there's real no hope in our people, and we're this and we're that, and we just don't aspire. And I've heard some great things from our people about personal achievements, but I think a lot of times we get into a place where we've almost become Jim Clyburnish, which means that all I'm thinking about is as long as me and mine are okay. And I hear a lot of that even on my own program, but many people are coming up with, well, I'm doing this and my children are doing that and my great-grandchildren are doing this and everybody's doing fine. But I think, but there's 45 million of us, and you may be talking about 10 out of the 45 million. Until we as a community begin to understand that until we as a community are united and care about one another, we as a community will never be safe and will never be really free from enslavement. Because I can't be happy and contented when you're still trapped in the menage of despair. I can't feel as though I've achieved anything when I have my brothers and sisters still trying to struggle to get out of high school. There has to be a way where we could continue to achieve for ourselves and ours while not forgetting from where we came. And so, I mean, I would just like to have a program one day. And Bernard, and I think everyone in this program really has an idea about where we think Black America should go, because I've heard each of you speak about Black America in a more positive way, and even a critical way at times. But there has to be a resolution. I can't see us being in a hopeless situation. I just can't see it like that.
No, we ain't. But I agree with you, Bishop, because there's so many of us doing wonderful things. You're right, Bishop, and we do need to go highlight those people, individuals that are doing the wonderful, great things. And it's on us. We are the black media, so it is on us to go and find them and highlight them. We can't keep waiting on white America. We can't keep waiting on mainstream America to keep giving us awards and trophies and celebrating us when we ain't doing it for ourselves.
Hey, trophy and them,
it is up to us to find them. So I'm with you.
Now let me bring up something right here. I have been laughing. You got the wonderful Miss Dawson in the chat. She's in the chat. Thank you for coming on. And she said, y'all get deep now, assimilated woman. But I'm saying that the woman that we're looking at with the eyelash makeup and stuff, not only is setting up the trans culture, it could be setting up, to me, it's kind of almost like AI prepping. The filters, the extra makeup. It's kind of like an artificial intelligence person, except they're real. But who to say they can't make a robot clone and do the same thing, right? They can do this. This could be AI conditioning. So they really could do this now. I mean, you getting to a point where deep fake, baby. I mean, they got robots, you know. I gotta break down that UPS strike and all that stuff too. And we gotta talk about that labor movement and all that too. That's be another topic for another day. Like I said, there's so much stuff I just didn't know I'd come on at 7 o'clock. So, you know, when I checked and said, they finally back on. So I said, let me just come up with some things that have been going on recently, in which I couldn't even get to everything. But we'll get to all that. But like I said, hey, we're gonna talk about that programming.
Shout out to Miss Dawson, man, in Houston, man, for all the greats, the blacks, the so-called Black Americans that's doing stuff down in Houston. You know, it's over what 4 million blacks down in Houston. So we got a lot of so-called predominantly black towns and cities, man. We do.
We're not hopeless.
Don't let them. We can't. We're not hopeless. We can't keep letting them tell me we're on the bottom. We are not on the bottom. Psychologically, they're trying to put us on the bottom. Oh, we on the bottom. No, we not. How? When we got what? What?
They say you got a heat wave.
A trillion spinning habits. Consumer habit, huh?
Yeah, but Chak, let me say this. Chak, but let me say this. We now and everyone acknowledges this fact that we circulate $1 trillion and make $1 trillion collectively as a people. But that $1 trillion leaves our community quicker than any other community in our nation today. Our monies, first of all, our monies go back into the system immediately. When you want to go buy a car, when your bank is either Wells Fargo or Bank of America or whomever else may be your bank, it goes right back. So that's why I say this government, in my humble estimation, is kind of dumb in the sense of not supporting reparations, because reparations are just you're gonna give me, let's say, $200,000. You know where it's gonna go? It's gonna go back to your supermarket. It's going back to your bank. It's going back to your school. It's going back to your factory. I buy them sneakers, it's going to go back to it's going back to them anyway. I want us to be that if we should get ourselves together first and begin to understand that until we begin to come together as a community, all we're doing with our money is we have to give it back to them. And I want to make it so that we can begin to establish banks in our own community and we support it. That we get a hospital in our own community and we support it. You know, when I was growing up, and then I'm through. When I was growing up, we had 3 black hospitals in Philadelphia. We now have none. We had Frederick Douglass Hospital, Philadelphia General Hospital, and there was another one I've forgotten about the name of it. But we had 3 black hospitals. We have none now. Now you got to go to University of Pennsylvania or Drexel or whatever.
Let me say something. Most of your hospitals in the last 50 to 60 years you're talking about have been bought out by private equity firms. They are privatizing hospitals. And watch this. Hospitals are going to start with this major thing. They're going to start what? Denying goods and healthcare service to people based. Okay, remember this. They already was able to do it with the Affordable Care Act to certain people. Don't think they can't do it again.
That's why it's important for, if we really love and like each other and want to see our future generations, it's going to be on us, man, to put this pressure on our politicians in our state politics, because like you said, Bianchi is right. The state has the power. Your state representatives, your state legislation, your state government has the power. you know what I mean, to force things and to allow the federal government to come in. The federal government don't have a right to come in unless your state officials allow it to come in. So we need to get our hands dirty and make sure that we're putting the pressure on the representative, the people that's supposed to represent us, because that's where it started at. Start educating ourselves, educating our future generations. We can't leave the future youth out, and giving them the tools to be able to go out here and have the skills and the wherewithal, the knowledge, right? To unify. We got to get them tools to be able to unify, because
Let me
it's very
close this
important.
out. I want to say
We got to have proper representation, man, to get this stuff done. Can't do it by ourselves. We need people that's up in government that's doing the job for the people, not for their damn self, like Bishop said.
Let me bring this up, because I want to bring this up. So like, if you need let's just say you got a nurse in this chat, Miss Dawson. And matter of fact, Dawson, I'm about to call you about this brochure I got today when they talk about donate an organ today. This is a preacher that was trying to tell you donate your organ too, by the way. I found that very funny. I don't know. He didn't even promote health. He didn't even promote no dang organ donate. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I don't know what the hell up with this guy, man. I was like, yeah, all right, yeah, okay. And then I got the other brochure about colorectal cancer. It's a second leading cancer killer, but it doesn't have to be. So I'm gonna have to call you and read these brochures and talk about them. I found this very interesting. They was giving this out at the event today. But look, Chak, what were they selling out front though? Funnel cakes, Oreo cake. What do they call it? Oreo crumb cake. You know, what they selling? So in the same tent with all the vendors, they still had the cakes and all this stuff. So I found it kind of interesting.
What I say, Bernard? What I always say, the number one drug in America is?
Yeah. Hey, sugar. And he actually talked about, that you need to donate your organ because we eat a lot of sweet potato pies and things like that. And he was like, "No, why you just promote healthy eating, man? And get what are you talking about, man? Just promote healthy eating, man. What are you talking about?" But
yeah.
But anyway, that's enough of that. So you catch me at Bernard Johnson Facebook, Bernard 1121 Instagram, King BJ Fitness 32, KingBJMedia.com, and what is it, King BJ Fitness or whatever, and then 1987 BJ1 on Twitter. Like I said, I'm glad the synagogue of Satan with their wicked ways, they say, you know what? We're going to just keep him on ice until we're ready to give him his channel back. You know what? I don't know what they did today. I ain't even checking yesterday. I was checking every day, and then one day I ain't checking then. Voila, it's like a magic trick. Oh, I can go live again. Oh, how? But it is what it is. But that's all right. So while they still let me go on the air or whatever you want to call it, let me try to come back around in tomorrow. I don't think we said anything too flagrant tonight, unless that thing I told you about them Jewish flyers. They talk about it was an anti-Semitic attack, and maybe they might get mad at that. But
I got one more thing to close out with, Bernard. Black fathers matter. Black fathers.
They matter in Chicago at the Father's Day shoot.
I think those be scripted, man. I'm telling you, man.
No, I do. But I'm just telling you.
It's always in Chicago. Why is it always in Chicago, though? That's my thing. Never in Florida, never in, you know what I'm saying? Like never, and then it was always in a Democratic state, too.
Do black voters matter? That's an organization that come back with. Do black voters matter? Hell no, they don't matter.
You're going to go Democrat.
Because of you. You know what? That's another thing. When I was at the event, they had the Urban League out there. That's another thing. And they asked, I know they asked her, are you a registered voter? Now, I sat on the side because I'm like, look, so I just want to listen to what they say. I want to hear what they're saying. Now, check this out. I've been realizing when you go to these events, they ask the women about the vote. They don't ask the man a lot about it. Because I had to sit back in the cut and watch. And I realized another guy the same thing. They ask the women about voting, not the men. Why is that? Because they know their response might be different.
Damn.
Divide and conquer, baby.
That's what it is.
They're doing a good job. You know what I'm saying?
I just had to look. But regardless, this has all been very entertaining. Thank you, Bishop, for coming on. Thank you, Shaq. Thank you, Frank.
Thank you for inviting me.
It's always a pleasure.
I'm out of here, but that's good. And I'll try to come back. I'm trying to be at 8:15, 9 o'clock tomorrow, something like that. So y'all take your time. Have a good night.
Good night.
All right. Peace.
All right. Peace out, y'all. Peace. Word.